Good morning, everyone. On behalf of ASOCHAM, I would like to take this opportunity to thank our esteemed dignitaries who has taken out their valuable time to join us for today's session, titled as 7th Season of Nutraceuticals Congress World's Future Ceuticals Insight into Lifestyle Management. Today we have an august gathering of dignitaries to talk about the subject, that is nutraceuticals, which is now in the 7th year of its conduct since it was conceptualized and launched. We have got eminent support by our stakeholders and esteemed partners, namely Semi Sibinsa Group Limited as title partner for the event, Kerala Ayurvedic Center as gold partner, Tirupati Group as logo partner. Now carrying it further, may I invite Srimati Upasana Arora ji, co-chair ASOCHAM National Empowerment Council and co-chair Healthcare Council, chairperson Yashoda Super Specialty Hospital for her opening remarks. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Payal, and good morning, everyone. I am really thankful to ASOCHAM that they are organizing such an important topic, and it's going on in a series way. So everybody is learning, and someone who is actually listening as an audience, they will really get benefit from this, and we can even learn from each other. All the panelists are really very, very professional and very good in their field. It's a very important topic because these days when everybody knows that diseases are going very high and how long we can only depend on medicine. So it is very important and we need to, change our lifestyle, as well as we are supposed to look for some nutraceuticals. So for this, we have a very good panelist, and they are going to tell us how to do and what to do. Thank you so much, and I am thankful that I am part of this series. Over to you, Payal.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for being always there with ASOCHAM and for delivering opening remarks for all the sessions we do conduct. Thank you so much for the support. Now, I would like to take the opportunity to invite Dr. Blossom Kuchar, ma'am, Chairperson Aroma Magic and Co-Chair ASOCHAM's Empowerment National Council for her special address. Ma'am, over to you, please. Thank you.
Unmute first, yes. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to be part of this great initiative of ASOCHAM. Today, we are talking about nutraceuticals, and today's theme clearly states that nutrition products can be an inexpensive and safe solution to tackle important unmet health needs. The term nutraceuticals combines the two words of nutrient, which is nourishing food component, and pharmaceutical, which is a medical drug. Diet and lifestyle are considered essential to promote and maintain the well-being, as well as to prevent the onset of diseases linked to wrong lifestyle and dietary habits. And that can both determine pathological conditions. Many of these require pharmacological therapy. Nevertheless, some can be prevented and taken care with the use of nutraceuticals in the daily diet. The COVID-19 pandemic, of course, has taught us that preventive healthcare is the most important line of defense. The majority of people worldwide now understand the role of immunity boosting supplements, which is ultimately impacting consumer buying patterns and behavior. So the nutraceutical section is set for positive growth. Nutraceutical products are recognized not only for their better health outcome and benefits to reduce the risk of cancer, health diseases, heart diseases, and other related ailments, but other related ones such as cataracts, menopausal symptoms, insomnia, weakened memory and concentration, and also gastrointestinal diseases. It really helps in these nutraceuticals. In fact, they help a great deal, which I have also experienced, honestly. if we talk about women's health, women are seeking also natural preventive approaches to manage and the range of physiological changes and challenges that they experience throughout their lifetime. And you'll find nutraceuticals have emerged as valuable tools in the battle for better health. From using supplements to promote a healthy pregnancy to transiting through menopause, many women are looking for natural ways to promote health and improve their overall quality of life. And this works. I can vouch for that, honestly. Today at the forum, we have eminent panel members with us who will give us more deep knowledge on this important subject. So thank you, everyone, and I look forward to this wonderful discussion. I'm really waiting for this discussion.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable remarks. Since you have just talked about the women, yes, nutraceutical is very, very important for the women's health. We'll take this subject further. We'll be doing a customized session, especially for the women and the nutraceuticals. Now, I take this opportunity to invite Dr. Anju Majid ji to come over here in virtual present and accept this honorary felicitation to Dr. Mohammad Majid ji, Chairman and Founder, Semi Sabinsa Group Limited. And I invite Dr. Upasna ma'am to please do this felicitation. Ma'am, over to you, please.
Congratulations. It's a actual honor if you are receiving this award, because ASSOCHAM is a very good platform and they are always choosing right person for recognition. So once again, my congratulations. Please accept this award.
Thank you very much. I'm also very pleased to attend this function on behalf of Sami Sabinsa Group and my father, Dr. Majid. I'm even more pleased to accept this honor given to him on his behalf. Both Sami Sabinsa Group and Dr. Majid are very pleased to work with ASSOCHAM. ASSOCHAM had shown a very distinct focus on nutraceuticals and other related industries. And it has taken a massive effort to educate both the industry and the government. And it has been a voice at a different level for our industry. And Sami Sabinsa Group and Dr. Majid truly appreciates the efforts taken by ASSOCHAM. And we look forward to working with ASSOCHAM for many years ahead. Thank you. Again, thank you so much for the award.
Thank you, ma'am. The award is Dr. Mohammad Majid ji, Chairman and Founder, Semi Sabinsa Group Limited, for Legend of the Millennium in Nutraceuticals Industry. Congratulations to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now I invite Manjri Chandra ji to please take the lead and carry forward this session. Thank you. Thank you, Manjri.
To be with you. Yeah, good morning, Payal. Good morning, Dr. Kocher. Good morning, Upasna ma'am, and everybody present here. It's always a pleasure to be part of all the ASSOCHAM events, and it's always a pleasure to see you, Dr. Kocher and Upasna ma'am. It's always lovely. And thank you very much for being a part of this. Today, of course, we're having this little session on the nutraceuticals. We have it every year with ASSOCHAM. For the last 2 years, it's been virtual, but I'm sure we remember all the physical events that happened before this. So taking it from here, we have an esteemed panel of experts here today to speak on the concept of nutraceuticals. We'll be taking the individual panelists. I'll request Ritika to please put up the slides for the panelists so that we can introduce the panelists and then request them to speak for the session. Ritika?
Yeah, I hope the screen is visible.
Yeah. So we first have Dr. Lakshmi with us. Dr. Lakshmi Mundkar is, of course, she started her career with Lupin Chemicals and then moved on to work hard research. Dr. Lakshmi has a keen interest in immunology, molecular biology, and the mechanism of action of drugs. Currently, Dr. Lakshmi is the Vice President of the Biological Research at SAMI Labs Limited, Bangalore, India. And her major responsibilities are to explore the biological activity, the mechanism of action of phytochemicals and natural extracts, and the development of new products. It's a pleasure to have you with us, Dr. Lakshmi. And I request you to join us and share some light on the future of nutraceuticals in India. Can I request Dr. Lakshmi to take the stage and, of course, present her views on the future of nutraceuticals in India?
Yeah, I think there is some bandwidth issue from her end. So can we move to the next speaker?
Yes, definitely, Ritika. We'll come back to Dr. Lakshmi. Let's move to the next speaker, please. Ritika?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think Dr. Lakshmi has been able to join us. So we can hear you, Dr. Lakshmi. Kindly go ahead with your presentation.
Yeah, I have a set of slides. I was like, can you share it or I'll do it from my end?
There it is.
Okay. Yeah, I think earlier I was muted. So I thank you all for giving me this opportunity to talk to you in front of you today. And I also thank Dr. Majid for giving me this opportunity this year. I've been talking in this ASOCHAM Nutraceutical Congress for the last 2 years. I think this is the third year. So today, can I have the next slide? So today I'll focus on women's health, nutraceuticals for women's health and lifestyle. So medicine long by the future will no longer treat human with drugs, but rather prevent and nutrition. In today's day, that we have to use the nutraceuticals and not only depend on the next slide. Can I have the next slide, please? Okay, so I think what are nutraceuticals? Coming to the nutraceuticals, these are bioactive substances which are derived from food and can be delivered in the form of supplements or functional food. So nutraceuticals is a word which is coined from two different aspects, the nutrition and the pharmaceutical drugs. And they're basically the natural products which can have which can give physiological benefit and maintain good health when you consume them in a measured amount. So the next slide. So can I have the next slide, please? So I don't want to go too much into what nutrition can do because all of us are very familiar with how it can benefit each one of us. I mean, we have scientific studies which have shown that eating food rich in vegetables and fruits will help you in your heart diseases, cardiovascular diseases. It will lower the risk of diabetes, and the list just goes on. So can I have the next one? So you have now I'll focus mainly on the nutrition for women. And like if you look at women's nutrition, it changes during the different phases of life. If you look at the women, they have three major stages: the adolescence, maturity, and menopause. These could be three different stages where the level of estrogen or the female hormones keep changing. And based on this, the nutrition that women need. So the adolescence is the early stage where the body is like requires a lot of calcium and things which can kind of make your hormone levels balanced. And then as you go on, your needs are very different. So every stage, of course, the regular exercise and having an optimal health and energy is very important. Can I have the next one? Can I have the next one, please? The next slide. So I just have it in a graph. Uh, can I go back to the graph, please? Yeah. So here, what I want to emphasize is the hormone levels, especially the estrogen levels, are very, very low in the early ages. And as the age goes at puberty, it starts it's at the highest. And then by the menopause time, the estrogen levels are coming down. And it is during these phases, there are different health issues that women face. Basically, it is the premenstrual syndrome as in puberty, as the girl, like the estrogen levels start going up. And then in the adult stage, you have right now, you have a lot of PCODs or polycystic ovary syndrome, uterine fibrosis, all these which are very peculiar to women. And menopause, as you always all know, that it's associated with a lot of lifestyle diseases like hypertension, diabetes, osteoporosis, which all come because of the loss of estrogen in the body. The next one. So I'll go over each one of them. In the adolescence or the teen years, when the physical growth is actually maturing, so you need a good amount of calcium, iron, vitamins, and zinc and minerals, which is very an adequate fat, of course, is very, very important at this particular stage, because most of the hormones are derived from the fatty acids or the fats, and not taking fat can have a different impact on your hormones. So nutritional deficiencies, poor eating habits, especially in the teenagers, can have a long-term consequences, including delayed maturation, loss of final height, osteoporosis, these kind of lifestyle diseases manifesting itself in the later stages. So adolescents or the teenagers are very, very important to have good nutrition. The next one. So coming to the women in their middle age, the 20s and 30s, where stress becomes one of the important. This phase is also associated with pregnancy, lactation, so where you need iron, calcium, vitamins, and then antioxidants, micronutrients are of course very important at this stage. And the nutraceuticals, when you come talk about them, the garlic, curcumin, which are all anti-inflammatory nutraceuticals, which are very, very beneficial, because the inflammation, the generic systemic inflammation that you have, can have impact on the other diseases which we talked about earlier. So coming, and then I will also focus a little bit on the gut health. And it is important, very important, to have your prebiotics or the probiotics, which can keep your gut healthy. And I will talk about it in the coming slides. So can we go on to the next one? The next one, in the late stages, like in the 40s and 50s, when you're entering menopause, that's another stage where your hormone levels drop, and there is a there is no balance in the female hormones, and this can actually the women experience a lot of problems at this stage. And the menopause, like as Dr. Kochar mentioned earlier also, it is a stage where women needs a lot of vitamin D, a healthy omega fatty acids, which are all nutraceuticals which can help them manage this transition from good from to menopause much more easily than and then flax seeds. These are some of the nutraceuticals which are helpful at this stage. So the next slide. Can I have the next one, please? The next slide. Yeah. So as I told you earlier, this women and gut health, I thought I would just focus a little bit on this aspect, because the intestine, a gut is full of lot of microorganisms. These are bacteria which are good, which are very, very important for vitamin B synthesis. They produce short chain fatty acids. They have metabolites. They help in metabolism of different nutrients which we take. So this is a very important amount of bacteria which are present. But it is also, there are also some what you call as the bad bacteria, or the bacteria which are pathogenic and which are not so good for your gut. So it's always the balance which is important. You have a good amount of good bacteria and balance out the bad bacteria, then you have a good gut health. So how is gut health related to female hormones? Because gut produces a lot of these bacteria, can actually metabolize estrogen, and they also can uh, have an impact on the metabolites of estrogen. They produce a enzyme called glucuronidase, and they deglucuronidase the estrogen, so leaving the estrogen concentration very high in the circulation. So the balance of your hormones gets affected because of the gut bacteria, and that can have an impact in the early adolescent stage in the form of premenstrual syndrome and endometriosis and all that. And as the age progresses, it can also affect the fertilization. It can affect gamete formation and end up in PCOS. And it has a very great impact on the menopausal issues, and also the osteoporosis and insulin resistance. These are diverse diseases or the syndromes which can be manifested just because your gut is not healthy. So I would like to emphasize that every stage, from starting from your early teens or early ages to menopause, your gut health is very important. So please do focus on your prebiotics and probiotics. It's not just the prebiotics, but it is also the gut bacteria help is helps in metabolizing a lot of your nutraceuticals also. So it is the maintaining a good gut health also leads to very good women health for women. So moving to the next slide. So I'll focus, this is just to show you how the harmful and opportunistic bacteria are higher. It gives rise to a dysbiosis, and we need always a balance. And it is not just the prebiotics and probiotics, the nutraceuticals like your still beans, anthocyanins, which are present. Anthocyanins are nothing but the pigments which are present in most of our plant vegetables. So these all help uh, not only as a nutraceutical, but they can help the good bacteria to be present in your gut. So they can help in balancing the gut microbiota, and that way also they have an indirect effect on the human health. So the next slide. So I'll focus on a few symptoms which are faced by women especially. So starting with the premenstrual syndrome, a set of syndromes which are a set of symptoms which are faced by women. Like it can start with just this anxiety and irritability and mood swings. It can also go to depression in some girls, and bloating is very common at this stage, and then fluid retention is very common. So what are the supplements do we have to relieve PMS? So we need to have calcium, of course, and then vitamin B6 is very important. And if you look at some of the nutraceuticals, chaste tree extract is very important. Saffron helps in controlling this PMS symptoms. So a list of supplements, this is just a few, may not be all of them, but some of them which will actually help the girls to get out of this premenstrual syndrome. Now coming to the next one, which is the most important one, or the thyroid deficiency, which is like escalating in India, especially. If you find that a recent epidemiological study showed that 1 in 10 adults in India have hypothyroidism, which is a very, very high number. And in 2016, they found that almost 13% of pregnant women are hypothyroid. And hypothyroidism can affect your other hormones also. So you need to be very aware that when you have a period irregularity, then you need to get your thyroid tested. So I'll just go into the little bit more on the thyroid deficiency in the next one. So what are the supplements which are used? So flax seeds or omega fatty acids are really helpful in thyroid deficiency. And you have bacopa. Bacopa is the Brahmi, what we call it. It increases the amount of the T4, which is very important. And T4 gets converted into T3, which is an important thyroid hormone. And our ashwagandha has a very beneficial effect on thyroid. And then we have gogolsterones and then the selenium. Selenium is one very important micronutrient which converts the T4 to T3. T3 is the one, or the thyroid is the thyroid hormone, which is actually the active component. So these are all the important like nutraceuticals which can help in managing your thyroid deficiency. Now, coming to the next the problem that we have here is PCOS, which is again increasing in India, especially mostly because of the kind of nutrition, the kind of lifestyle that we follow, and not having enough exercise, or not having enough then eating food which is made of processed uh, food, which is again very not very good for your female hormones. So deficiency in vitamin D can also give rise to PCOS. So can we have the next one? So like PCOS can be like, this is just a kind of iron-rich food, magnesium, fibers. These are all common things which help in reducing insulin sensitivity and reducing the inflammation. So the next one. I've just tried to give you an overall view of PCOS because it is a syndrome. It's not just a disease where you have, which can give rise to a kind of type 2 diabetes. It has chronic inflammation. And then there is, of course, the hormonal imbalance. And then it can also have an impact on cardiovascular diseases. So there are different, I've given this in the green boxes, where you have flavonoids and curcumin and probiotics, vitamin D. All these are ones, like cinnamon is also very important in controlling diabetes. And then ashwagandha, which balances your hormones. So all these are very important nutraceuticals for PCOS. So can we go to the next one? So I'll just touch upon metabolic syndrome. I think Dr. Manjari will be talking about it much more in detail. Now, these are some of the metabolic syndromes, which are the different manifestation of metabolic syndrome. And of course, you have a lot of nutraceuticals which help in each one of them. In the next one. We have curcumin can help. Curcumin it's an anti-inflammatory molecule. Then you have resveratrol, which helps in cardiovascular diseases. Amla, amla extract is very important for as an antioxidant. And then you have the black seed or the forskolin. All these I've listed it out, which are the nutraceuticals which kind of help in each one of these different manifestation of metabolic syndrome. So coming to the last one, I would like to say there is a African proverb which says that if you teach a woman, you teach the society. So I would like to slightly tweak this and say that if you keep the women healthy, you keep the society healthy. So thank you very much, everyone, for your patient listening. And if you have any questions, I would like to take them now.
Hello, good afternoon. Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Lakshmi. That was such a well done presentation and so comprehensive. You touched on almost everything that matters in terms of the nutraceuticals. And of course, as we correctly know that there's a long way to go in terms of the way the market is shaping up, also in terms of the requirement for the nutraceuticals, because there's a lot of many times, for example, as you correctly said, that a lot of conditions, including things like gut health, micronutrient deficiencies, a lot of chronic metabolic diseases can be taken care of just with primary minerals, vitamins, phytooxidants, antioxidants, phytochemicals. But we resort to medication. And the problem is that when you start with medication as against correcting the underlying cause of the deficiency, then it's just a downhill ride, because there is really no coming back from that medication. And so pharmacology can definitely be replaced to some extent by nutraceuticals, and that is the future that I think we are looking at. So thank you for joining us, and thank you for that elaborate presentation. We'll now move to our next speaker. Can we please put up the slide for the next speaker, Ritika? Our next speaker is Dr. Narendra Tripathi. Dr. Narendra Tripathi, a well-known person, is an environmental sciences, and he has a lot of experience in quality, food safety, and regulatory compliance. Dr. Tripathi has worked with various organizations, all the way from Walmart to, he was with certain food companies, Reliance Retail, Ionet, Coca-Cola, and Dabur, of course. And presently, in his current role, he is carrying the responsibilities of the head for quality assurance, food safety, and regulatory compliance at Tirupati Wellness, which is a unit of the Tirupati Group. We welcome Dr. Narendra Tripathi, and I extend my invitation to him to join us and share some of the views related to the future of nutraceuticals today.
Thank you so much, Manjari, and thanks a lot. And to the SOCHM, I'm very grateful, to providing the opportunity to have the interaction with this event. So, would like to go with the topic having the sport nutrition. Would like to sharing some slides about the briefing about the sport nutrition topic we have for today. So, give me a few minutes, 1 minute, just sharing the slides. Yeah, give me right to share the slide, please.
Yeah, given, sir.
Thank you so much. Yeah, would like to go through the sport nutrition first, and will brief about the Tirupati Group. Tirupati Group is a largest contract manufacturing organization, and we are in the service providing, just like service providing organization, providing end-to-end solution from the concept of from the concept of the clients to launching or designing of the products until launching the marketing. And we have the diversified business in pharmaceutical, nutraceutical, and Ayurveda and nutritional products, sport nutrition also. This is basically a brief about journey. Like we have Tirupati Group was established in 2005 for the first time with the name of the Tirupati Medicare. Then later on, the 2007 Tirupati Medicare was became operational, and then we established 2010 about the Tirupati Research Center, and in 2011 we started to have like a Tirupati Nutraceuticals, South Tirupati Nutraceutical Division, and then Tirupati Ayurveda, we have the Ayurvedic operations also, our Ayurvedic manufacturing units in 2015, and sport nutrition in 2017. Like we have dedicated unit for the sport nutrition, and we are serving to the clients like global clients like Colombia, Labrada, and recently we are also going to have association with the my protein, and muscle tech also. And in 2019, we were joined hand with the equity, pharma capital. And in 2021, one ward of the state, we can say world-class facility for the Tirupati Innovation Center have been established. And through this way, we are extending and we are providing the services to the, for the industries, and as well as finally to the consumers of the nutraceuticals consumers, those have been associated with this activities. And we have been inspired with basically, like if we talk about the sport nutrition, then we Kheloge, Khelega Bharat or Khelega Bharat is the basically logo of the Prime Minister of India. And his logo, Prime Minister Mr. Modi, is a slogan with it. Khelo India is an effort to give the strength to a mass movement for playing more. So, and initially this was a dialogue like, we oftenly say in Hindi, like, kheloge, kodoge, hoge kharab, padhoge, likhoge, hoge nawab. That has been basically because of these campaigns and others, people have been started showing interest in the, sports, in the games, in, Fit India program also basically have been having played the role to reach the sport nutritions basically up to to achieve a high milestone in the industry. Similarly, if we talk about the sport nutrition, definitely there is a need of the nutritional need for the sport person, and sport persons required, like either he is going for the gym as well as in the different casual gyms where are there for the information, and will be especially to the always to the athletes. Most of the sport persons obtain energy from the different sources, like having the different sources as well. They maintain their self having the balance very tight, as well as they expend, many sport persons require a diet high energy because of their nature of the games and the nature of the because of their requirement of their competitions and their trainings. So malnutrition basically is one of the we can say the issue, we can say the area of concern that the people becomes unfit because of the, and it malnutrition definitely reduce the performance either in the sport, either in the we can say like in the daily life. So then definitely it is a need to have a healthy nutraceuticals product and healthy nutraceutical product, healthy balanced diet. And during there is the numbers of the ingredient, there are the number of ingredients, and there are the number of nutraceutical we can say the requirement to be. But we are taking here some of the key part, like we can say like a carbohydrate is the basic need, and it is the source we can say like bread, breakfast cereals, and we can say noodles, rice, potatoes. These are the basically source. And it is the carbohydrate needs can be meet out these through these sources to make the life healthy and fit for the same. And if we look into the importance of carbohydrate, then definitely eating the high carbohydrate ensure that muscles and liver glucogen stores are maintained. If you are taking the in the form of the balance level, like we can say it is not like that we have to dependent on only the carbohydrate. Most of the if we see the glucogen's property, the so muscles and the liver is definitely is used to it affect the muscles and liver. And such a prolonged exercise, blood glucose level can drop normally, and this can cause the like fatigue, nausea, and dizziness. So carbohydrate is required to maintain the energy level also, since it is a source of energy. Carbohydrate rich foods are also important because it replaces the glycogen stored after. It is stored after the event, either the sport or the playing or the exercise. Definitely, we'll go. Protein is also, protein is the key segment for the sport persons for which we are manufacturing. Like there are the numbers of the organizations; those are playing the significant role to provide the protein powder and the protein content product to the sport persons. And generally, what happens, a sport person may need more protein because they are doing the exercise, they are doing the more, they have to go for the more building of the muscles. So definitely eating from the general level of proteins, they require the more protein level. So there are the sources, the industries, those are providing to the sport persons. And if we talk about the requirement, the protein requirements for a normal adult are 0.75 gram per kilogram of body weight. And the strength and endurance athletes and the proteins required to increase the around 1.2 to 1.7 gram of the protein per kilogram of body weight. Definitely, if you look into the sport nutrition and Indian market, so if we talk about that, then definitely it is growing fantastically. And according to the Euromonitor International report, if we focus like the sport nutrition market size in India, 1,300 crore, which is expected to grow at 22.8% CAGR by 2023. Rising consumer health awareness and body consciousness are to set to driving the increasing the participation in regular sports. Basically, this is a growth. It is a nutraceutical sport nutrition market is growing, and being as a manufacturer, we are also getting benefited. There is no doubt. There is no doubt. Definitely, we have to make our standards adhering with our industry's regulations. And this is the growing pattern, saying the growing pattern that we are growing on the year by year in the sport nutrition market. And if you go through this slide, then definitely this is the demographic fitness fanatics, and millennials take more 50% of fitness. If we see, everybody is getting aware about the fitness, and the Fit India program is also a part of to increase this. Everybody is involving himself and herself in the to do something to get them fit properly. And if you go wise, gender wise, as per the survey report, is that the 40% of women and 58% of men, they are definitely coming basically involving themselves for their fitness program. And there is a age wise program. I'm not going in the details. It is basically and in order to maintain, there are the to how to serve the products, ethical products in the market is full of number of basically the number of industries are there, and it is getting difficult. What are the products? Sport nutritional products are very authentic, and what nutritional products are not authentic. So FSI also has taken steps to which is, and regulation is going to be strengthened and to be implemented from the July 2022, and they have given is the initially different category like FHG sport nutrition, FHG sport for the sport persons only. And the regulation is definitely focusing the uses of the prohibited substances, those have been listed in WADA and NADA, not to be used for the sport persons. And it is basically it is required because there are the numbers of the smaller industries, those have been involved in the manufacturing. They are taking the materials, spurious materials from the market and blending and pushing in the market, and which is becoming very challenging. Which one is the basically authentic for the sport person, and which is not authentic for the sport person. So it is this definitely implementation and adherence of this regulation will help a lot. And one of the biggest challenge to have this month for us in the adherence with this, like how do we ensure that our materials, our products is free from the anti-doping substances, since there is no laboratories are here till date in India to ensure that all the anti-doping, the product is free from anti-doping substances. So industry is also facing such kind of challenges. However, we definitely it is being added to the international laboratories. Those are the basic. Those are the having the good manufacturing practices, and LPOs. Those are basically owning their own responsibility to serve the compliant product to the sport persons. So they have been accordingly. The notifications have been there. Are the number of the clauses already also have been mentioned to cascade the counterfeited products in the market, and how it is to be provided to the consumers, how it is to be rooted out. And they have been enforced certain restrictions also, so that these problems could be addressed. Like initially, we can say the product was most of the sports companies have their product in the nutraceutical categories. Now with this, they have to change their nutraceutical product to the FSDU sport nutrition category. So that will help us to rationalize the formulation as per the specific sport persons, as per the requirement of the sport persons only. And they have also enforced to the representation of logo that FSDU is sport nutrition. The product those have been designed by the manufacturer. Those products have been displayed. This logo FSDU for sport persons are to be maintained, and this product is to be maintained clearly, not to be used by the pregnant, nursing, and lactating women, or by infant, and the children's under 5 years. And the oral consumption along with it does not contain, basically this lactic needs to be also mentioned, does not contain any prohibited substances as per WADA. WADA listed all the doping agents. It means the product must be compliant in the states, like we can say WADA listed anti-doping chemicals. And a part of that, restrictions are there, like these sports nutritions are not to be used for the general public, and it is basically, if it is to be used, then it is to be used to be under guidance of the medical doctors only. So these are from the highlights of the regulations. So thank you so much for the opportunities for providing to speak on the sport nutrition. Thank you so much. Yeah, handing over to Ritika.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tripathi. That was really a very good presentation, especially the one where you spoke about the FSSAI regulation for the Anti-Doping Act, and sports nutrition. And I know that there are a lot of products available, and there's a lot of confusion about how what can be used, what cannot be used, and regulation, of course, has become more and more strict and streamlined, so which is nice. Thank you for that presentation. If anybody has any questions, I think we can take them later at the end of the session. I now invite my next panelist to come and join us and also speak about the nutraceutical bit. We have with us Dr. Shaini Leenu. Dr. Shaini Leenu is an Ayurvedic specialist, and she has been practicing Ayurveda for the last 15 years. And she's a certified yoga trainer. She has medical expertise in weight management, pain management, panchakarma. She's also a specialist in serious metabolic diseases like autoimmune disorders, bronchitis, liver diseases. Also things like preventive therapies, which are Ayurveda rejuvenation therapies, and she's also a specialist with hormonal imbalances, especially PCOD and PCOS, which is more with women. So thank you for joining us, Dr. Shaini, and we look forward to hearing from you about the concept of nutraceuticals and what place they have now in the space of health and wellness.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. And first of all, I would like to thank Ashwagandha for this event. And I would like to express my happiness to share this platform with all the like-minded people. So speaking about Kairali was formed in the year 1908, and from then it has not looked back. So our mission is upholding the authentic principles of Ayurveda in order to propagate health and well-being worldwide. So, with a wellness legacy of more than 10 decades, Kairali Ayurvedic Center was formally founded in 1989. Based on the ancient and proven Ayurvedic therapies, Kairali Ayurvedic Group has been promoting and establishing Ayurvedic treatment centers, Ayurvedic hospitals, wellness centers, Ayurvedic spa, and Ayurvedic wellness resorts in India and overseas for the last 33 years with a vision to be recognized around the globe as the essence of true Ayurveda. Kairali Ayurvedic Group has won hearts of millions of people worldwide for its excellence. So we have a presence in 9 countries, and in the last 33 years, we have helped 15.3 lakh individuals to improve their health and reverse many chronic ailments through Ayurvedic therapies with a satisfaction rate of over 93%. We have a so we treat a person in a holistic way, which includes authentic Kerala Ayurvedic therapies, yoga, meditation, and healthy Ayurvedic diet. So we treat the root cause of the disease, we analyze the prakriti of a person, and then we analyze the vikriti or the disease that a person is suffering from by our, it is diagnosed by our expert Ayurvedic doctors. And then a treatment is customized from over 35 authentic Ayurvedic therapies to get desired results, which includes Panchakarma therapies like Vamanam, Virechanam, Nasyam, Vasti, Raktamokshanam, and also many other therapies like Abhyangam, Shirodhara, different types of kiddies, Pirchil, etc., which are called as Shodhana therapies. And these Shodhana therapies that actually help in detoxifying the body. It nourishes the gut, it maintains the gut health, neurological health, and rejuvenates the body. So although we have treatments for pain management, stress management, skin ailments, and many other, maximum footfall we have for the Panchakarma therapies and the weight management. So during the course of the treatment, we train them how to maintain their health and how to inculcate health and style into their daily practice. So how they have to, once they finish the treatment and go back to their daily routine, how they have to follow these things. So we are trying to create awareness among people and adopt Panchakarma as a lifestyle change rather than looking into it as a treatment. So weight loss treatments are also helping people to achieve their desired weight and inch loss, and also boosting their health and confidence. So we teach them how to listen to their body and mind and how to stay in tune with the nature. So to support the treatments, we have our own WHO GMP certified factory where we manufacture over 300 products and also like 35 patent Ayurvedic products, and we are still expanding. So to conclude, Ayurveda is a science of life which explain about the which explains about to maintain a healthy life, and we are striving hard to be known as the synonym of true Ayurveda across the globe. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Shaini. Thank you. That was very explanatory. And of course, we all know the brand Kerali. We know that, I practice functional medicine. And one of the tenets of functional medicine has been ancient medicine, which includes naturopathy and Ayurveda. And although typically, we come from a modern medicine background, and all our lives we've been working for modern hospitals. Now with functional medicine, we use a lot of nature-based therapies, especially things like gut cleansing, colon washes, enemas, a lot of body, we use the skin also very effectively, from far infrared saunas to massages. So there's a lot really that Ayurveda naturopathy offers, which can not just help people stay healthy and well, but can be very, very actively used for chronic diseases. So that's of course, we know it. It's just that, people are still not woken up to these so well as they should have, And we have Dr. Kocher with us, and ma'am has always been an advocate of, the right therapies and also aromatherapy, which still many people do not know about, But these are things which have great potential. and are far more safe, natural, and long lasting as compared to, a quick response that we do with reactive medicine, which is modern pharmacology. So I think more and more people are waking up to it, and going forward, this will be the future of medicine, if I could say that. So thank you for your address, and we now move on in the panel. I think the next speaker is me only, so maybe I'll be presenting a small set of slides and trying to take you through natural ingredients and how they will become the center stage of nutraceuticals. So I request Ritika to put up the slides if possible. We'll be talking about natural ingredients today and how they can take the center stage of nutraceuticals. I also wanted to just, inform and sort of say to everybody that I've come out with a new book. It's called Heal with Foods by Rupa Publications, and it's right there in my hand. It's available on Amazon and in bookstores across the country. So if you want to pick up a copy, go ahead and do it. If you send me your address, I'll be more than happy to send you a signed copy myself. It'll be my pleasure to do that. And the book basically talks about how we can use our own kitchens and our own food to heal our bodies from disease instead of depending on modern medicine. And it talks about the things we've forgotten in our kitchen. A lot of stuff that was part of our traditional cooking methods and ingredients that we've sort of foregone, and sort of brings that discussion in the foreground. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about it. But let's move on to the session. So this is, as I was trying to say, we're going to talk about natural ingredients. Let's move to the next slide, please, Ritika. When we talk of food, we typically, whenever we say food, we think that food is nourishing. We think that it is protein, fats, carbohydrates, minerals, vitamins, antioxidants, phytochemicals, but there is more to food than besides providing basic nutrition. There are a lot of things that real food can offer, which is not just nutrition, but it can be functional in both preventing and treating disease. And that is what we call as functional foods, foods which have functionality and can almost work like medicine. So the Hippocrates line of food is medicine is actually true. We now know how it can work as medicine. Basically, if you look at food, these are the main functional ingredients that food contains. It contains things called polyphenols, which are essentially things which are acidic in nature, and acids by chemical composition. So phenolic acids, a cinnamic acid, and many other such acids which become the polyphenols. Then food also contains flavonoids. So flavonoids are, basically of many types, but the isoflavones, the proanthocyanins, these are the ones, of course, lignans, these are the common ones that we know of. Food also has functional foods which become things like alkaloids, omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acids, medium chain triglycerides, alkaloids, carotenoids, terpenoids. Food also provides us with a lot of enzymes. Do we know that real food can actually help in your digestive process? Because a lot of vegetables and fruit contain critical enzymes which are required for so many digestive processes in the body. For example, we have alpha amylase. So these are precursors of the enzymes, of course. So we have alpha amylase. We have angiotensin converting enzymes, which are so important enzymes in so many pathways. We have arginase, which is a precursor of arginine enzymes. So basically, the one that allows arginine to be broken down in the body. So food contains more than just protein, fat, carbs, and minerals and vitamins. It contains functional food, and that is what we're talking about. Now, what happens at functional food is it is not only preventive in nature. Many times when we look at food, we just say that if you eat good food, you'll be healthy. but food also has a treatment modality to it, treatment of degenerative disorders. So we know that we can use these functional animals to treat these below diseases. We can use it actively in cancer, neurodegenerative disorders, in autoimmune conditions, in all forms of cardiovascular disease, cardiometabolic disorders, hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterols, hormonal imbalances. So this is what food can do. And the bioactives of food, which are the functional food essentially, this is how they work. They work by protecting against the degenerating diseases by altering one of these biochemistry in the body. They either modulate or they alter the activity of critical enzymes, or they synergistically they provide a protection against degenerative diseases. So that is the mechanism of action. Let's go to the next slide. Let's change the slide, Ritika. So these are some examples of commonly found plant-based bioactive components and biological functions. So if you look at, for example, the cruciferous vegetables, the cruciferous family, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, they contain a lot of bioactive compounds, glucosinolates. We know that they have sulfides, they have isothiocyanates. Now these compounds, again, they offer multiple types of benefits. It's not that it's just good as an anti-cancer substance. They also help in immune modulation. They help in removing toxins from the body. They can be antimicrobial in nature. We of course know that a lot of food contains isoflavonoids and polyphenols. The common ones are, you know, fresh fruits, green tea, grapes, a lot of vegetables have them. Now, these polyphenols and isoflavonoids are antioxidant, of course, but they are also very good for people with heart conditions or cardiovascular disease. They improve the HDL-LDL ratio, reduce the amount of circulating serum triglycerides. They can be anti-cancerous in nature. Then you have vegetables that give you the vitamin A group of and the other forms of carotenoids, so beta carotenoid, alpha carotenoids. These come from, mostly the color is an indicator there. We've learned that in school also, but all forms of squashes, you know, dark green, green leafy vegetables, yellow, orange fruits and vegetables have carotenoids. And these carotenoids, again, are very, very important antioxidants. We know that they have great potential to remove toxins from the body. And why we're constantly saying antioxidant, antioxidant is because a lot of disease is because of the high load of free radicals or toxins in our body. So these foods can naturally remove these free radicals or toxins and reduce the burden of disease in a big way. Then we have the specific type of rice called Najavra rice. Najavra rice has a phenolic compound and also has monounsaturated fatty acids. Now, most of these rice, red rice, black rice, wild rice, these rice have, you know, they give these phenolic compounds, and that's why these compounds have multiple roles to play. When we're looking at monounsaturated fatty acids and omega-3, we're looking at reducing dyslipidemia. We're looking at anti-inflammatory, anti-rheumatic properties. We're also looking at phenolic compounds as being antispasmodic, antihistaminic in nature, protective for the liver, so hepatoprotective also. Let's move to the next slide. We know that ginger, by the way, the pandemic told us that adrak is, you know, bandar kya jane, adrak ka swad, but adrak is something that we all should be eating. So ginger is another one. It is antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. It has gingerols, and these are active components which can help in your respiratory system. They can help in your neurological system. They are, of course, anti-cancer, like garlic, which also has anti-cancer properties, anti-inflammatory, reduces inflammation, which is the underlying cause of most of the modern diseases. Then all the vitamin C, we know that, again, human beings and whatever research has happened in medicine knows that vitamin C is the most potent antioxidant that we know of, you know. And human beings could manufacture their own vitamin C at some point of time, like animals can. You don't need to feed vitamin C to animals. Animals have an inbuilt mechanism wherein they can make vitamin C themselves. But over evolution, humans lost the capacity to make vitamin C naturally in our body. So we have to take huge and sufficient amount of vitamin C because it's one of the most potent antioxidant that we know of. It is cardioprotective, anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory, antifungal. Then the seeds, especially chia, flax, and many more seeds contain good quality fats, which which are cardioprotective. A lot of nuts and seeds also contain the vitamin E, which we know is almost anti-aging, both for the skin and generally for the body. Lycopene we've heard of, which is in tomatoes, a very potent anti-cancer substance. The bit about these functional foods is that it's very nice to read that tomatoes have lycopene and they are anti-cancer, but how to use them is also important. Overcooking or using tomatoes in the wrong way or not combining them with the right type of ingredients may not make the the functional bit of the food so bioavailable. So one bit is identifying the functional component of food, and the second bit is how to use that food in our daily life so that we can get the maximum benefit out of the functional properties. Then turmeric we know has curcuminoids. Enough has been said about the curcumin content of turmeric. It's actually now the favorite of the word, I think. Curcumin is the most favorite ingredient that we've identified that is used for a plethora of diseases, from cancer to all forms of inflammation to being used as an anti-diabetic, antibacterial, antifungal substance. Let's go to the next one. Okay, this is becoming very technical, so we will just quickly run through this. So this is essentially polyphenols, and I just wanted to touch upon this because if you look at just this slide here, you'll see that these polyphenols, which for example, the resveratrol, or for example, the green tea polyphenol, the EEG, all these polyphenols, cinnamon has polyphenols, which are, abundantly found in good quality cinnamon. Now, these polyphenols, if you look at them, they are directly interacting with three major hormones: insulin, ghrelin, and leptin. Now, these three hormones, insulin, leptin, and ghrelin, are responsible for three things. One, insulin is responsible for fat metabolism and sugar metabolism in the body. So it becomes a major player in how much weight a person will carry, and also whether how much is he predisposed to any form of cardiometabolic disease. Leptin and ghrelin, are part of the pathway which causes satiety and hunger to happen. So if we are able to modulate the function of leptin, ghrelin, if we are able to modulate or reduce insulin resistance in our body, we can have a major effect on how much weight we carry, how much visceral fat we carry, how much fat we store in our body, and how much insulin resistance we develop over time. And because all these are causation for every cardiometabolic disease we know, therefore, I wanted to talk about the fact that functional elements like polyphenols, and there are many more, polyphenols is just an example, can have such big impact on our bioregulatory mechanisms, mostly through the hunger satiety hormones and through the insulin pathway. Next one, please. So this we all know about, but I just wanted to quickly talk about why, we know probiotics, prebiotics, but we still eat food out of a packet, or we order from a store, not realizing that we are missing out on the essential fiber. Every time food is put into a packet, it goes through an industrial processing pathway. And 99% of the time, maybe very few foods, but most of the time, the minute it goes through industrial processing, it gets ripped of its fiber, which is one of the main components for becoming the prebiotic element of our food. And prebiotics are basically dietary fibers. Not all of them are prebiotics, but if that fiber cannot be broken down by the intestinal microflora, and it is not broken down by the action of our digestive enzymes, and it's not absorbed in our gut, then it becomes a prebiotic. And we know that prebiotic is essentially food for my good bacteria. So if I want the good bacteria to multiply in the gut and the variety of good bacteria to increase and the number to increase quantitatively, then prebiotics become the food for the good bacteria. So now the next slide, please. So prebiotics, I mean, commonly found in our food, in our kitchens are these, all the root vegetables, all of them, the sweet potatoes and shakarkandi, sorry, that's sweet potato only, but things like licorice root, also, for example, yam, colocasia, ginger, garlic, green onions, berries, all of them, even in normal onions, red onions, these are all very good sources of the prebiotic fiber, and these prebiotic fiber become food for a healthy bacteria. So what we are trying to do with prebiotics is, when we eat food which has sufficient amount of good prebiotics, then it does not give me directly any benefit, but what happens is that it stays in my gut undigested, in the lower part of the gut, and then it becomes the food for the healthy bacteria. So they then multiply because they have the right food to feed on. The next slide, please. Yeah, we can move to the next one. The second category of another functional food, which we've talked about enough, but we still don't include enough of it in our diet, is probiotics. Probiotics literally means eating food with live bacteria. So eating food which has live bacteria in it, which will directly get transferred to your body. So it includes, a lot of good food, which we'll talk about. But of course, we know that there are thousands, and actually there are trillions of bacteria in the human body, and there are thousands of species of these. But some of the species that we've identified, which are the better, probiotic, bacteria, are the Lactobacillus, Bifidobacterium, Streptococcus, Escherichia, other Bacillus bacteria. Now, these bacteria are the good bacteria, and when we eat them through food, we are directly taking in this good bacteria, and that is the concept of probiotics. The next slide, please. So naturally, this food in our kitchens contains probiotics naturally. So, I mean, homemade yogurt, I'm not a big fan of yogurt because it comes from a dairy background, but other forms of probiotics where you're using vegetables and fermenting them. For example, kimchi, or fermented pickles made at home, or kanji made at home, or apple cider vinegar, the pickles that we make at our home, which is like aam ka achar, nimbu ka achar, even the sauerkraut, which is so easy to make, just cabbage and olive oil and salt is all you need to make sauerkraut. So all these things become very good foods that we can eat on a daily basis to supply healthy living bacteria to our gut, which are the natural probiotics. The next slide, please. So we can skip this. We can go to the next slide. Yeah, so I just want to quickly touch on this last bit for functional foods, because cancer, I mean, at 10 years back, when we used to work in the hospitals, we used to have a lot of cancer then also, and there's a lot of cancer now. But 10, 15 years back, when we seeing cancer, the extent of cancer and the way it was just, the numbers was not how we see it today. Cancer is something that's spreading like wildfire. Literally every family now either knows somebody very close, or they have somebody in their family who is suffering from some form of cancer. So in your close family, you'll have somebody who has cancer. So it's literally touched every human life today. And the bit about cancer is, it's really not a disease. Cancer is something which is when the tissues of the body misbehave. So you have misbehaving cells in the body, and these misbehaving cells initially don't cause you much harm, but once they become, the numbers increase manifold, and they become, they metastat to different parts of the body, that's when the cancer becomes really harmful. At some point, it becomes so bad that it can be fatal also. The other problem with cancer is that I know that diabetes is also a very big burden, but with diabetes, we still have a line of treatment, which is a simple line of treatment. You have oral hypoglycemics, you know how lifestyle modification can quickly get you out of diabetes. But with cancer, the minute a person is diagnosed with cancer, the treatment is also as traumatic as the disease itself. So whether we look at modern surgery or chemotherapy or radiotherapy, all these treatments are very, very traumatic and difficult for any person. So we've not been able to exploit the functional foods in preventing and treating cancer. And that is a big daddy. And we should start looking at this not just in the form of nutraceuticals, but also as foods in our kitchen. So quercetin, just eat, instead of eating an arhar dal, if I could eat a whole lentil, a whole bean, I'd get the quercetin from it. If instead of eating, food from outside, I make my own soup at home and add some turmeric and good quality fat in it, I get the curcumin from it. And so it's so very simple to get these bioactive compounds into our everyday food. And if we do that, we're not only preventing ourselves from cancer, they can also play a role in the treatment of cancer. So some of the common ones are, we know of wheatgrass, because what wheatgrass does is it reduces the myelotoxicity of the chemotherapy. Quercetin, which is found in whole lentils and beans, it's also found in a lot of fruits and vegetables, is a very, very potent antioxidant, anti-cancer substance. And it actually inhibits the growth of cancer in the body and becomes a chemo preventer. Ginger, of course, contains quercetin. Then we have turmeric, which we've talked about. But the bit about turmeric is that now we know that it is as potent as many cancer drugs. So when we look at oncology and the mainstream oncological drugs, turmeric is sometimes as potent as them. So it is chemopreventive. Then we have licorice root, which we again very easily found in India, and it's highly cancer preventive. We have ashwagandha, again a great herb, not just for cancer, for multiple pathways that it works in. But the beauty about ashwagandha is it's not just anti-cancer, it helps in every stage of treatment and prevention of cancer, from stopping the new if you look at the way ashwagandha works, for example, one of the very interesting ways in which it works is it stops something called angiogenesis, which is essentially the cancer cells or the cancer tissue develops new blood vessels to feed itself. So ashwagandha can stop the development of those new blood vessels. So when you don't feed the cancer dies off on its own. So that's how strong these substances are. Then we know of basil or tulsi, as we call it, of course. The next one, next slide. And we know of neem and shilajit. It's just that our ancestors, for example, knew that neem is good, and they would just have it every day by just brushing their teeth with a neem stalk, or just chewing a few leaves of neem. This was so common, everybody did it. सब लोग नीम के पेड़ के नीचे सोते थे, सुबह नीम का पत्ती खा लेते थे उठ के, and we just quickly let it go. So just including them every day in our daily things can not just prevent it. What I'm trying to constantly emphasize is that functional foods are not just preventive in nature, they're also used in treatment modality, and they have a very big role to play in treatment. And then this is the last bit, because immunity is on everybody's mind. So, I mean, these are the things that we have in our kitchen. For example, we know of star anise, which is a common spice that is found in our homes. You know that star anise has something called the skimic acid, which is what was used to make Tamiflu, which was a drug for H1N1 swine flu. So this is all already, aspirin, which we use today, was actually derived from plants at some point of time. And then it is now being synthetically made. Every drug that we know of had a plant origin to it. And then we moved to synthetic formulation of drugs. So foods and plants have great amount of functional benefits. And this is, I think, one of the things that the nutraceutical industry can use in a very big way going forward. Thank you very much. I think somebody wants to see the, so thank you very much. And thank you for listening to me so patiently for that long session. We'll now have a next speaker. Can I request Ritika to please put up the next slide? We now have with us Mr. Amit Srivastava, who I know personally also very well. Mr. Amit is the founder and of a very revolutionary place called the Nutrify Today Academy and the Nutrify Today group, which is bringing together thousands of very senior people from various sectors of nutrition, food, nutraceuticals, pharmaceuticals, OTC manufacturers together on a single platform, allow business to happen more fluidly. And he's also into a lot of innovation. He's coming up with very big events. We've partnered with him in his academy, where we're teaching it to a young people who have just come out from doing masters or who are in college. So I welcome Mr. Amit Srivastava, the Chief Catalyst for Nutrify Today, to join us and share some of the information about what he thinks is the future of nutrition.
Thank you very much, Manjari, and a good afternoon to all of you. I would request the admin to allow me to share the screen. And while I'm being allowed to share the screen, I've been told that I've got 5 minutes. So I'll, instead of talking a lot, I will run my presentation by example. It's going to be just 4 to 5 slides, but I hope it adds value. Okay, so I can share now. So allow me a second. Can you see the screen? Hello?
Yes, we can. We can. Yes.
Okay. Great. Wonderful. So first of all, thanks a lot, Manji, for a great introduction. So you saved me a lot of time, and I owe you for that. So thanks a lot to everyone for your time. Nutrify Today is the venture that I've started, but then let me just give you why all this happened. You know, artificial intelligence, machine learning, these are all jargons that we often hear, and it has entered into our life without we even realizing it. And trust me, I can challenge that between morning when you woke up to now, at least 3 times AI would have touched your life and you don't even know about it. Neither do I. You know, so it's such a thing. But you know, the power of AI is that it can unleash the power of a country which is currently sitting at $9 billion nutraceutical industry to shoot up to $100 billion industry by 2030. And how is something I would love to share. Yeah. You know, the reason I started this venture is because I found in the journey that India is heavily deficient in vitamin N. And it is this reason that is putting our nutraceutical network, work, innovation, research, business at a low level. There are a lot of small to mid-sized nutritional community in India doing great work. There are a lot of innovators in lab that I come across, amazing work. And on an average, we receive 25 to 50 requests from India and other countries that how could Nutrify Today help them reach out to the world. You know, everyone is struggling to grow. And one thing in this journey that I realized is your network is your network. Let me give you a quick example of what is the power of vitamin N that we play at Nutrify today. The gentleman that you see is a very inspiring story. And the story that I'm going to narrate is a real story, of course, is Guntur, a small town in Andhra Pradesh state, Guntur to New York in 270 days. Very interesting story. So this gentleman, Dr. Shastri, his PhD in Ayurveda, 25 years of his life, he's very passionate about it. 25 years of his life, he has been doing a lot of research. And one of the innovative area that he looked into is how could he apply principles of Ayurveda and modern science to create natural process of nanoparticles of Ayurveda. The current methodologies are all mechanical processes. So this was a great innovation that got patented. He got award from central government, including DRDO. But after so much of appreciation, the business remained zero. You know, through his network, innovation, people who praised his work, he used to earn about close to 200,000 US dollars per year, slightly over a crore, and the life went on. In his journey, he was really getting desperate. He's 65 years now, and he's desperately trying to see how his innovation could reach out to the country and to the world. And he, in his pursuit of finding a result, got connected onto Nutrify Today platform. And then the artificial intelligence story began. So on a platform, he continued to search. He continued to read articles that AI was reading or assessing what Dr. Shastri is reading. And based on that, the AI found out a company in Switzerland who had a similar thought process, and they were looking at similar kind of searches. And then Dr. Shastri got connected to Eurolines in Switzerland. And when they got connected, they were so excited to work together that they said, you know, we got to deliver this technology in most innovative format. And then the search began, how do we deliver in an innovative format? And then they kept searching, the technology platform kept searching till they found another innovator sitting right there in Hyderabad. So Guntur to Switzerland to back to Hyderabad. And this innovation turned out to be, implemented onto a very innovative delivery device. And then the big question began that should this product be launched in Switzerland or in the United States, which is the largest nutraceutical market. And based on the search pattern, the software got them connected to one of the largest distributor in America. And finally, they reached America. And the outcome is a very famous brand, Nanoveda. So Nanoveda is Guntur to New York in flat 270 days. So not even a year's time, this entire thing happened. The product got launched. So right from an ingredient to putting up a format to launching in America, creating a brand. And these guys have never met together, ever. Of course, thanks to lockdown. But now that lockdown is over, still there has been no need to connect. So there has been a credibility, and people have done business purely through, networking. And this is before and after. Before, Dr. Shastri did close to about $200,000 per year. And after getting onto the platform, he is doing $3.5 million per year. So our take is the next wave of nutraceutical growth is, yes, of course, research will continue, but then it is the catalyst is the growth that matters. And hence usage of technology, artificial intelligence, connections, relation, and of course, building the business without doing too much of physical networking and business development. Very happy to share with you all that Nutrify Today is now made in India and serving the nutraceutical world. And Nutrify Today Academy is again made in India and teaching the world on applied nutraceutical courses. So now it is the Indian faculty, and as Manjari ji also mentioned, so the faculty is Indian, the students are right from India and other countries participating because there was nothing like this available ever before. Okay. And in this pursuit of making India a global nutraceutical hub, we are going a step ahead of creating world's first ever CEO only global nutraceutical event in Taj Mahal Palace in Mumbai. The purpose is simple. It's not about show off getting a C executives. It is getting the decision makers from different companies come together and create a harmonized market access for innovators or small time innovators, mid-sized companies who would not have bandwidth to travel world over and find out whom to meet and whom to do business with. We are creating that platform so that they can come meet and create a business opportunity and create maybe millions of Dr. Shastri who are still struggling across our country. With this, I hope I have covered it in 5 minutes. So this is all about creating need-based artificial intelligence-driven network, nutrifytoday.com. I'm done.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Amit. That, as usual, it was a very informative presentation. And I mean, although at our own ends, we sit in our offices and our hospitals and we talk about the science bit of it, we need somebody from business to connect all the ends together and, you know, join the people who need to be joined in the right platforms to be given for the right business opportunities to develop, which is what you're doing. So kudos to that. Thank you also for being part of the panel. I request, just give me a moment. I think we are done with the panelists, but I will take the confirmation from Ritika. If Ritika could just please kindly confirm. I think we've had all our panelists speak to us today.
Yeah, ma'am, we can move to the vote of thanks now.
Yeah, yeah. I think we will now, I'll now hand it over to Payal again and request Payal to continue with the proceedings of today's event. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you, Manjuji, for taking up this lead and doing the entire session. Now I would like to invite Dr. Blossom Kocher, ma'am, for the vote of thanks. Ma'am, over to you, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. It has been actually, I must say, of course, thank you to you, Payal, for this whole thing, and for ASSOCHAM for having this wonderful, wonderful event, and Manjari for conducting the panel discussion so very well. And I would also like to thank our esteemed dignitaries for being a part of this event. I've learned so much from Lakshmi Mudkar, I mean, all about the women and the women's health and how we can use it. I think it's been wonderful. Dr. Narendra Tripathi on Ayurvedic sports. Oh my, I never knew there were so many restrictions, so many things that we have to go through also, and how it is so very important. Of course, Manjari and I was wonderful and really floored with all the foods that were there and what we can eat and the probiotics, and that everything is in our kitchen. It's really wonderful, and we just have to look there. And of course, we have Shiny for Dr. Lindy for telling us all about the Kairali. That is really been very, very good. And I know I'm associated with Kairali, and I know about Kairali. Who doesn't know about Kairali? Yes. And it was good about learning all about that. And of course, Dr. Amit Srivastava, and networking is network with net worth. Is network today is networking today is net worth. That was really wonderful, and how you're helping it, because I really feel this nutraceuticals is something that's really going to be the thing of the future. And ASSOCHAM taking it up and doing it all this time, I think it's really going to reach somewhere, and especially with this latest pandemic and everyone, I think the whole world is going towards, immunization, learning to eat better. And like I've always said, instead of eating so much of, your food, you can't take it all. I would love to have those little nutraceuticals, they're taken out from there and eat that, and eat natural organic food. I think it was wonderful. Thank you all so much. And I would like to thank, of course, our partners who have made this all possible. Thank you so much to Sani Savia Group, the Sami Savia Group, Tripathi Group, Kairali Ayurvedic Center, Renew Power, and TCIL. Thank you all so much for our patrons. Without you all, I'm sure it would not have been possible. Thank you so much, and thank you again, all the dignitaries and our sponsors and our partners. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful meeting you all and listening to you all. And thank you, Payal. Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Payal, because, Payal and everybody at ASSOCHAM who every time put in the amount of effort and, put in all that work that is required. But now we are all part of ASOCHAM, you know, and we're also connected to each other now. I mean, more personally, just not just through these events. So it's great. Thank you, Payal. Thank you, the team, Ritika, and everybody at ASOCHAM. Thank you, Dr. Kocher, for being here.
Thank you.
And always, you know, being our guiding light. So thank you for being that person. And over to you, Payal.
Thank you so much for carrying out this session beautifully. Thank you, Upasana ma'am. Thank you, Manjari. Thank you, Dr. Shiny. Thank you, Dr. Lakshmi ji, for the wonderful presentations. Although I know you people are not based in Delhi, and we are having a wonderful Women International Day, like, and we do hope to look forward to see you over that day. Would have loved to see you, Lakshmi ji and Shiny ji, over the same because it's in Delhi. Although I'll send you the invite. Let's see what we can work out about it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.